We are live. Annie, hello. Thank you
Hello.
so much for coming on today and discussing the topic, mental health.
It's an important topic.
I love and appreciate you, and I thank you for being here. And so today we are going to talk about the importance of taking care of our mental health, and that it's just as important as our physical health and our emotional health. And Annie and I are going to share tips and tools on how to take care of how we take care of our mental health. But again, we're not doctors. This is our personal insight, and it's important for you to take care of your mental health how you see fit and what works for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it is. Don't you think our mental health is just as important as our physical and emotional health?
Absolutely. And it affects them. All of these bodies are interconnected. One affects the other. And quickly,
Yeah.
especially in times like these.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought it was such an appropriate time
Very
right
good.
now to be able to talk about it because, years ago, I mean, I like to say, like, back in the olden days, growing up, you didn't talk about mental health. It was in my family, you didn't. You just pretended everything was okay. You just never addressed it. And so I'm glad that we are at a place in time right now that we can openly talk about our mental health and how we care for it, and that there's no shame. There's no shame, with it. Because I
Absolutely.
think back then there was always kind of that stigma of, if there was something wrong with your mental health, and then there was something, wrong with you, which isn't the case.
Yeah. I think it's so indicative of our times that so many of us are feeling this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't see how you could be here and not
Right?
and not feel it, because when we first started talking about doing the show, I got a little bit in my head about it, and that less than voice started talking to me a little bit. So I immediately, I thought, well, I can talk a lot about struggle. I have experience with going to counseling for a good 18 years and learning tools and learning to use those tools. Because in the beginning, I had a metaphorical hammer, and I just tried to use that on everything, but that doesn't really work. So
it does for a while, but after a while,
counseling helped me develop other tools, and then just practicing those basic things and remembering the medicine wheel, remembering that the mental and physical and emotional and spiritual bodies are all interconnected, and relying on that types of knowledge, those types of knowledge to help me find my way and to look to be a part of it. I think one of the things that when we feel isolated, our world shrinks. And often as we get older, our world tends to shrink. And we have to find inner resources and make connections like we have in this wonderful, beautiful community, and keep those healthy connections alive and breathing and celebrated, and share what we know, which is what we're doing today, So
right? Yeah, and that's exactly it. Yeah, we're just sharing, things that we've been through and tips and tricks that have helped us, and like Annie said, the community itself, I mean, is such a great way of coming together and helping support our mental and emotional health, because everybody in chat and is always so willing to help and take care of, or make suggestions and help one another and
bolster each other.
Right?
Bolster each other, encourage each other to shine, to stand in that light, stand in your light. Yeah.
We have Barbara is with us today.
Hi, Barbara.
Hello, Barbara. Thank you for being here. Venus, hi.
Oh, I love your puppy.
Right. So sweet. And Scott, hello. Thank you for being here, Scott. Swampy, hello. Hello.
Swampy. Hi.
You changed your picture too. I have a hard time seeing what it is.
egalitarian animal. I don't know. Are you playing Scrabble? Were you playing Scrabble when you made your name? Because that's worth a bazillion points.
A bazillion, right?
Hey,
Jackie, hello.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. Oh, who else? I don't want to miss anybody. Scott. We have two Scotts in the house.
Oh, hey.
Scott, hello.
Hi, Scott. Scott Altman. That's a cool name. Hey,
And the mangled unicorn. Thank you for being here. Okay, Janet. We have Janet DC.
Hey, Bora Bora. And pretty kitty. Fantastic kitty.
Hopefully your internet is up and working, Janet.
Fingers crossed, hon.
Yeah.
Hope your mom is doing well today.
Yeah.
Hope your mom is doing well.
So anyway, thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And so yeah, so back to the mental health stuff. I know you know, I have been to counseling, and I have had to you know, reach out to a couple. Well, I think I've probably seen 3 different counselors in my lifetime, which have all been a great help. And it's been, you know, times in my life where I knew I didn't want to burden my family, and and I needed I needed a third party, you know, to be able to talk to, and be able to share what was going on, and be able to get insight on my situation that I was going through, and typically it always had to do with family matters.
Yeah.
And so, you know, then, you know, it's hard to call on your family when they're part of the problem.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it's always been a great resource. And so, I mean, anybody out there that is struggling, that or is on the fence, you know, thinking that they may need help, you know, there's no shame. There's no shame in asking and reaching out for professional help.
I kind of wish everyone would go to counseling. I think everyone in the world could benefit at one time or another from counseling, and not just one time, just whenever you need a tune-up.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
Insurance companies make it somewhat difficult, but there are a lot more options now of online counseling than there was beforehand, you know, than there was 20 years ago or 15 years. And one of the things that was beneficial of the pandemic that we've all just been through, I don't think we've had enough time to deal with the effects of one thing before another thing and then another thing on a global scale. But one of the benefits that came out of that was more online options. I was able to talk with my counselor online during the height of that, when that first began, and I really needed it at that time. It was extremely helpful to me. And then Insight Timer, when I started using that when I was barely leaving my home. I was so stressed out, and that helped me enormously. And I really encourage people to use these resources. A lot of them, like Insight Timer and Calm, are free. You can get on your phone, and they are really, really helpful. You can take small bites of subjects that you're curious about.
Right. You can do searches, you know, whatever it is that you're going through, that you need help with, and you can do searches to find certain meditations to help.
Or just explanations. I mean, one of the things my counselor helped me with is I would describe situations that I was struggling with, and I would ask her, like, what's this called when people do this and that? And she'd be like, oh, that's passive aggressive behavior. Oh, that's this kind of behavior. I'm like, okay, thank you. Just somewhere to start.
Right.
And um, everybody kind of, the judgment thing was really tough, and it still is for me, to step away from the judgment. And one of the things I came across that helps me enormously, absolutely, is remembering the medicine wheel and remembering balance, that we want to go for balance. Like asking the male self, who's often been pushed into our analytical mind to constantly be analyzing everything. And I love analyzing things, don't get me wrong, but over analyzing things, especially one's own behavior. And that's where judgment can get really, you can be abusive to yourself by doing that. So I'll take 3 deep breaths, and I'll ask my male self to just be still for a moment, and I'll give it a job and say, okay, I want you to go into my vascular system and check all systems, check all connection in my vascular system at this time, male self. Because male self loves a job to do. It wants to do a job. So give it one that's important to you, that's important for your health. And then bring your heart energy up and open. And I do that by saying, I am thankful for my life. Thankful for, like, I don't get all weird about birthdays, because I've had health events that could have ended me. So I'm just real happy. I'm thankful to have birthdays, to be here for my kids and grandkids. So when I move into simple things like go outside, be by my tree, weed my garden, get my hands in the dirt, say, I'm thankful, okay, male self is busy doing that vascular, checking my vascular system. It's going to go through the whole system. I can move my female energy up, and my female energy can hold things that seem to be disparate from one another. Ideas that on the outside look like, how could that possibly gel? Well, that's the magic of female, because female can hold those ideas and go, okay, well, spiritual body needed that. Mental body needed that piece of information. Emotional body needed some calm. And a little bit at a time, you start to be calm. And if I am still struggling, I will go out to talk to the trees, and talking out loud makes a big difference. And I ask guides and angels and ancestors, because ancestors remember how hard it is. My ancestors remember being hunted, being killed. Many bazillion of us, thousands, actually literally millions of us ended. So that's kind of a double-sided thing. There comes a challenge with that, and an appreciation. There comes where it can be uncomfortable to bring your spirit all the way into your body. So you might feel that struggle in your emotions or in your mind, because in past walks, it wasn't safe to be all the way in your body.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't safe at all. And I think many people are feeling that now. So,
definitely.
And the way we can be most effective as light workers is when we are fully in our bodies. And once
even when it's uncomfortable, right?
Even when it's uncomfortable, during political unrest, or, the storm of baloney. It's most challenging to be fully in our bodies.
It is. It is.
But that's how we shine our light, by just doing it anyway.
It is. And you hit on something really good that, our ancestors know. I mean, they see what's going on down here, and they've been here. They've taken this ride, and so they see how tough it is. So, how, we call on our spirit team, that's our ancestors. We can always call on them too, because they know they've been here, and they will assist us just as much as our angels.
They're cheering us on.
Yeah.
They're so proud of us.
Right.
They're super proud of us. They love us, and they want us to succeed at whatever our life path was. Because, I always think that I have to do big moves. And sometimes that isn't it. Sometimes it's just being there every day. being a gentle presence in someone's life every day, consistently. Like that's the, in families and parenting, the part I love the best, that's sometimes the most challenging, is to be consistent.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's
And
really huge and very good for our mental health.
very much so. Very, very much so. And it's making small things a priority. Like my family knows that I'm going to go out in the garden every morning and I'm going to say my good morning prayers, and I'm not to be disturbed while I'm doing that. If they see me outside and they see that I'm looking up at the trees, or I'm praying, or I'm whooping it up because a raptor flew over, they know to leave me be. They probably look, but they know they respect that because I've made that a priority in my life. Eating healthy. It sounds like, oh, geez, Louise, but if you're older like me, you realize that you have more time behind you than you do ahead of you. And there comes a humility with that. It's like, okay, yes, I love ice cream, but now I eat healthy choice.
Yeah.
Instead of the
Right.
full kind, and I eat a lot of popcorn. But there are ways. It's a whole grain, so it's actually not bad at all.
Right.
But, to try and seek balance, not be perfect. There's no such banana. There's no such person. There's no such creature that's perfect.
No.
The beauty of being human is because we're not perfect.
Right.
That's what makes us so interesting.
And accepting that without guilt, right?
Yeah, as long as we're not harming ourselves or someone else, as long as we're not harming each other, it's okay. It's desirable. It's interesting. And so whenever I waver, which is, I'd say daily, these are the things, go outside, talk to nature, talk out loud, ask for angels and guides, look at my medicine cards. Just, use these tools that we have. Go outside and talk to nature. I'm really wanting to get one of those rain drums that you can play because I've heard that the forest loves them. I mean, at this time when we're being encouraged to feel alone and isolated, I say no, we're not. We're closer with nature and each other than we've ever been before because we celebrate these differences now. Sorry.
What did you say that you want to get? I didn't quite hear you.
A rain drum.
Rain drum.
Yeah, I heard of a rain drum, and you can just play them with your fingers or with a little stick.
And, I think I've seen them.
Yeah, I've heard.
Are they metal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, those are super cool.
They are. I'm pretty excited about those. I'm like, because it rains a lot where I live. So me having a rain drum would be perfect. But being able to play that, and to just, because when you are not isolated and alone here on earth, you have guides, you have angels, you have ancestors, you have this community, and our community is growing. And as people kind of disengage from the crazy, insanity and lies, they're going to be looking for somewhere to start and to begin. And I don't plan on rescuing anybody. I'm just going to keep quietly walking my path. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And you gave a lot of tools that because don't you think we all need like a mental health toolbox?
Absolutely.
To go to, because there's certain days where we maybe just need to stay inside and be quiet and still, and there's other days where we need to get out and walk. We need to to walk that off. We need to be we need to be in touch with nature, whether it's birds or just earthing and grounding. And I know for me, a lot of times, being silent, being quiet, but I can't, for my mental health, I can't stay like that too long. I can't be, in the
isolating.
Yeah.
It's not
And
healthy.
and I can tell when I'm going to slide down that rabbit hole. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what, we gotta grab you by the bootstraps and
Do a show. Do a
yep,
show.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
Let's yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. And two, I find that I'm really trying to eat a lot healthier. I mean, of course I have my cheat days and I have things like yesterday, for example, I made potato ham soup. It was 85
You
degrees here. And not a particularly good soup day, right? It's usually rainy, cold, but I knew I needed soup. I knew it was comfort for me.
do.
I knew it was going to help me. It was going to fill my cup. It was going to help my mental health, and it would feed my body. Was it the healthiest thing? I mean, not the worst, but it brought me comfort. And so there is something to be said about food, earthing, meditation. I
Yeah. I've had
Scott
that
here.
every night. I've started meditating all night for the last couple of months. To cut cords, Archangel Michael. I mean, I've sent you privately. I've sent you a couple of the ones that I really like to listen to,
They're wonderful.
because energy's moving in waves. There are just waves of energy coming through,
Hmm.
and I talk to the sky and I say, I love you. Heart centered awareness or higher can come near me. Nothing else can come near me. Because I'm kind of like a bug zapper, spiritually speaking. If lower energies come near me, they will get zapped.
I love that.
But I'm not always as brave as I want to be. Like when there was a No Kings protest, a peaceful protest, I was not going to go, and my husband really wanted to, so we went. And I felt I had gotten in my head about it, and I was afraid to go. And once we went, I was so happy to be there. I just stood there crying for most of the time. I was so overcome by the solidarity of all the souls there and all the people. There were so many more people than I expected, and I'm not comfortable with crowds. But all the homemade signs and the bravery and all of us together, it was so empowering. And I look forward to doing that again.
I was so proud of you. I
Yeah,
was so proud of
I was so
because
scared of going, but it was important. I kudos to my husband, because I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for him. And
and
I'm,
it was stepping out of our comfort zone
yeah,
where sometimes that's hard.
it
It
is.
it is. And I'm so glad he supported you and
Yeah,
encouraged you. And because what, once you got there, what a huge release for you, just to see all the love that
it was amazing. It
mhm.
was really, really amazing. And I think we need to feel that type of energy, and we are beginning to see it and feel it as a country, and we really need that.
We
Uh,
really do.
we really, really do. We've went, if we look at what we've went through in the last 8 years, and we're still standing.
It's been a
So,
lot of trauma, a
and
lot
there,
of trauma that affects our mental health.
a lot.
I mean, and yeah, we're still standing, we're still surviving, and you know what? I like to say we're thriving.
I think we can be. There was something I wanted to share, and I will be mentioning this more on my channel. Um, with the food cuts coming, I don't know how much of these terrible, awful things will actually come to fruition before something steps in to assist us.
Yeah.
I have prayers and faith in that, but when we're starting to get scared, I think it's really important to, like, okay, what can I do? What can I actually do?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
in my neighborhood, and I hope that other grandmas across the nation will want to do this as well, we can help by going to local schools, elementary schools to start with, and ask them. I asked yesterday, I did some research about this, to how can I be helpful with food banks? How can I be helpful to, there's such a thing in schools where you can pay off children's debts for getting their lunches. Now,
Oh, I
when
love that.
when I was growing up, we were poor, so I could help at school and wipe down tables and do work in the auditorium, and I earned my lunch that way. But I was a child a long time ago. So nowadays, what you can do is you can go in and you can help pay children's school debt so that they continue to get lunch. And there's a number of elementary schools in my city. So I plan on getting involved with that. So when you start feeling like, oh, there's nothing we can do, that's bullshit. Baloney. I'm sorry, that's baloney. There is always something that you can do. If that means, you get an extra bag of pasta and you bring it to the food bank and you do it every week or once a month or whatever, there is always something you can do.
Always.
So a lot of times for me, mental health is, I feel better if I'm doing something, just something, adding a little bit of joy or kindness, gentleness in the world. So we can all do that.
And we need more of it. We really
Yeah.
need more of it. And by doing those small acts of kindness have such a huge ripple effect that expand out and make such a huge difference in not
Absolutely.
only in our lives but in the lives of the collective and the food bank or the school and then who's ever being able to eat that one. It really has a trickle down effect in a positive one, which is
Like ripples in a pond. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are things that help me feel better. Like, okay, where am I going to put my energy where I want it to go?
Yep.
That's kind of one of my number one mental health rules. Put my energy where I want it to go.
I
It's
love
good.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. And boundaries is a huge one. We all have probably somebody in our life that can sometimes be extra, and having boundaries and really protecting our mental health is a form of self-care. And and reaching out to a friend or family when a person's feeling low, I think is really, really important too.
Mm-hmm.
Scott says workers' comp has greatly affected my mental health, and it seems to be going down. And I'm so sorry, Scott. And so I'm glad you're here. If there's time at the end, we might do a healing, like a mental health healing meditation. If there's time, I'm so glad that you're here, though, Scott, and know that we see you and that you're loved.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm just going to jump back here. I
know
thought,
I'm sorry.
Janet says, I had Calm, but it was paid. I let it go for now because it was a little too pricey. So you must have to pay for Calm.
Oh, okay. Insight timer, sweetie.
Yeah,
Janet,
that's free.
Insight timer. I started using it I think it was 2021, and I've been using it ever since. I've used it. Oh, I know. I'm on because I've done over 1,111 days in a row meditating. So that was probably like a month ago, and it's fantastic. So check that out, Janet.
And this is huge.
Oh, okay.
Venus
Aura.
says, I've been a member of Aura app since my dad's passed 5 years ago. The app has helped me along the way, and I've learned so much. I have not heard of that app. So thank
Aura
you,
app.
Venus.
Yes, thank you. That's fantastic.
And this is why, we all learn from each other by coming together,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I love it.
I love it so much. Swampy, thank you, Janet. If you don't know animism, check it out. I've never heard of that one either.
Animism. That's a cool word. Animism.
Barbara, serenity, stop beating myself up for not doing things perfectly, and the courage to forgive myself because I'm working on doing better, and the wisdom to know that you already love me just the way I am. Amen, Barbara. That is beautiful. You know what? Because truthfully, we're all just really trying to do the best we can.
Mm-hmm. And it's tricky. I mean, I've been starting more to become more aware of what's going on politically. And it's a fine line to stay aware of what's happening and not get sucked in, not feed the fear.
Mm-hmm. I'm stressed by everything, and my vibe isn't as high as it was. Makes me wonder if this is why many orbs have stopped showing up nightly. It very well could be, Janet. If I was you, I would call on because what I find is the orbs are typically and it depends on, for me, it depends on the color of the orbs, but for the when I see the orbs, it's usually our angels, guides, or ancestors. And so I would call on them and tell them that, you know what, I'm needing a lift. I'm needing some extra support. I'm just, I need you. I need you now. And I bet by doing that, they will swoop in and help you and lift you and support you, and you'll start seeing the orbs again.
I ask Archangel Michael and Uncle Metatron to do a sweep. Sometimes if my husband and I are bickering, I'll ask, please do a sweep. Please do a sweep of my mind. Please do a sweep of us. Please help my husband. When he's irritating me.
Yep.
Because we're all feeling this intense energy right now, and it's all hitting us differently.
It is.
So I'll ask for Archangel Michael to please just do a sweep. Do a sweep. I'll open the windows of our home and I'll burn sage, or you can make sage spray.
Yep.
Hi, Amanda.
Amanda, thank you for joining us on your lunch.
Yay. But then I've never seen orbs either. I haven't seen orbs yet. I hope to, but I haven't seen orbs like in my house. I think maybe if I take pictures of stuff, I'll see stuff in my pictures that I didn't see with my eyes.
You will. I really believe at some point here, Annie, you're going to.
Yeah, if it happens, it happens. So I'm open to it. Yeah.
Big fan of food banks. My father did this for years.
I was a caregiver for older folks, and they were low income. And I was a caregiver for them for 7 years. And one had Alzheimer's and gout, and the other had diabetes. So we would, every month was a little tight. And so I'd make this little game. Like, today we're only going to eat food that starts with the letter P. So we'd have
I like that.
peaches and popcorn, because that's what was in the cupboard.
That's what was available.
Yeah. So there's usually a way to make light of things, but it's a choice.
It is.
It's a choice, but it's a challenge, but it can be a fun one. It can be a fun one.
And Jackie, absolutely staying away from the news.
I have this rule that I put my computer away at 6 p.m. and just watch comedy TV after that, because I need time to have my energy to kind of like calm down and get nice and sleepy so I can have a good night's rest. And
that too, the comedy TV makes a huge difference too.
Huge. Oh, I'm a humongous fan of Downton Abbey, but I'm an even bigger fan of comedy. I freaking love comedy, and I'm so weird. I keep watching the same shows over and over, but I think my kids actually told me that was an anxiety mechanism of what they say. They said it was a calming behavior. Mm-hmm. So I learned that from our kids. Yep, I've been doing calming behavior for years.
Yep, and didn't even realize it. But
I didn't even realize it. So, but it works. It definitely really works. And drink a lot of water. I've been really drinking a lot of lemon water because it helps to, I picture this lemon water um, neutralizing. Just
Yes.
neutralizing because energy's neutral. So just let the energy move through me.
Yep. Yep. I was going to I'm just going to briefly I just want to touch base and it came up last night when I was writing stuff down for the show today that I think it's an important um topic message just to briefly just touch on. And I think with everything going on in the world right now, I really feel like gaslighting is really affecting our mental health. And not only personally, but I feel as it's affecting our mental health as a collective. So I wrote down the definition of gaslighting. Gaslighting is the practice of psychologically manipulating someone into questioning their sanity, memory, and power of reasoning. And I just wrote down, I said, we're living in a time where lies are being told day in and day out. Um, and it's mentally exhausting. And and key points to gaslighting is information control, memory manipulation, blaming avoidance tactic or shifting the blame, ongoing criticism, creating chaos, and playing the victim. These are all forms of gaslighting, and it can sometimes feel like you're going crazy. And so I thought it was important to address this and how to recognize it, and to know that you or we are not going crazy, and that you're not alone, and that it's important to trust yourself, and know that you're being seen and heard, and that your feelings are validated. And the whole gaslighting, it can lead to depression, self-doubt, low self-esteem, emotional numbness, confusion, and fear. And all of those things affect our mental health. And not only do they affect our mental health, a lot of times then it trickles down and affects our emotional health, that eventually affects our physical health, and in there our spiritual health too. And so the message I got is we're not crazy, that the world is waking up, and healing starts when we honor our truth, and to trust our intuition, and to protect our peace, and self-trust is the antidote of gaslighting. Self-trust is the antidote of gaslighting. And so I have a little affirmation that I'd like to share. I honor what I feel. I trust what I see. My experience is real. My voice is valid. I release the need to question my truth. I'm no longer available for manipulation. Confusion leaves my mind. Clarity enters my spirit. I remember who I am. I stand in my light of knowing, and I choose peace.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. That book, No Bad Parts, reminds me of that, and that by Richard Schwartz. I think I would encourage everyone to read that book as you begin the path of healing, no matter where you're at on it. When I found that book, was it a year ago, and I applied it spiritually, and it helps me enormously. I keep this thing by my bedside, actually. The 8 C's of self-leadership are courage, creativity, calm, clarity, connectedness. I'm forgetting two. I always do this test with myself because that tells me what I need to work on that day. Yeah, I love that definition too. And I really like that she shared the opposite of gaslighting is believing in yourself.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
your feelings are valid. I appreciated that. That was so important to be said and for people to hear. I think that's so healing. Just that was beautiful. That was
Oh,
really beautiful. Yeah, I think
and
you're
the
right.
news does.
Yeah.
It does lower our vibration. And right now,
Yeah.
we really need to be concentrating on our mental health, our vibration, our self-care, because we are, like Annie said, we're here to shine our light. And when our vibration lowers, so does our light. And then we need to be aware of that, and then it's time that we need to recharge, because we are here at this time to shine our light and be the truth seekers, and yeah, to
I've been so heartened by seeing people. I've been seeing shorts where people are sticking up for like undocumented workers by standing on ladders. I saw this one guy and he had a blue cape on, and he goes, everybody thinks I'm a supervisor, but what I really am is I'm an ice alert, you know? And I thought, I'm just seeing normal human beings reaching out to help other human beings. That's what makes us so fantastic. What?
right. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, yeah.
Seeing how people are coming together and and
Mhm.
and standing up,
Yeah.
and I know there's certain sites on social media that
Mhm.
alert people to know, if they're in the area, and to have people come out and support the ones that are
That
going to be
need it.
in need. Yep.
Uh-huh.
And that's a way of being able to come
Well,
together. And
human beings, I mean, even stories of Auschwitz, even stories throughout history, when human beings are unimpeded, it is our natural instinct to help one another. And it always has been, and it always will be. It's our natural instinct is to reach out and help. That's why we're in these vehicles.
right,
That's
right.
what we do when we're humaning. Even us introverts are out talking. So I mean, come on. If
Exactly, right, Annie?
absolutely. Even us introverts are out, and we've been out for a little bit now, as uncomfortable as that is.
And we're seeing more and more of it.
Yeah. So it's having faith in that is important, as if you were explaining it to a small child that just came to the planet.
Mhm. Yep. I I
Yeah.
um I love that. And you know what? And there's power. There's power in numbers. There's power in light. There's power in love, because
Mhm.
love and light always wins.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. There was a tiny thing I wrote I wanted to share. It's
Yes, please.
mental health, a measured cadence, healthy protective measures, and the rest is maintenance. Bright diamond light pulled round tight, a mirrored egg of frequencies, asking angels to accompany me. I think that's just keep it simple. We just have
I
to
love
keep it
that.
simple. Um, these basic truths, these basic rights, because that's what we're down to now. That everyone has the right to live and breathe unimpeded, and everyone matters, and everyone's equal.
Amen. Everyone matters. Everyone is equal.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah, because what we're seeing, and a person would have to be living under a rock not to see the cruelty that's going on. We don't even treat animals like that. And so it's really, as light workers being here at this time, it's really hard to digest, and it's really hard on our mental health, to say the least. Um, but you said it, Annie. I love it. We all matter. We all matter. I love that.
Well, right now, I think the focus on brown skins and dark skin of all colors, of all shades, we need to be speaking up. Um, I'm brown, and people think, well, you were born in the United States, so you don't need to be worried. But the people who are behaving badly aren't reading paperwork.
Right.
So the fact of us standing together, I think, for me, I focus on resonance. You can choose love, you can choose fear. What are you going to do? I'm going
Yep.
to choose
One or
love.
the other.
You're going to choose the war, or are you going to choose peace? I'm going to choose peace. Are you going to choose unity or not? I'm going to choose unity, you know.
Right.
And we'll have some faltering steps, and that's okay. That's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
We will, and I really I see the division that we have, is that we are going to start coming together, and that's going to be a beautiful thing, and it's going to be a healing time,
I
not
think
only.
so too. I think we're on the cusp of
Mhm.
a really beautiful healing time. We
Yeah,
will get through this. Things are just really intense right now. Um,
but we got this, right? We got
yeah,
it. We got it. We got each other. And, that's the most beautiful thing is, we're not alone in this ride.
right,
We
right.
have each other, and, we're all seeing each other. We're supporting each other, and
Yeah.
loving on each other.
I think one of the things that I found really empowering is to say out loud when I'm being bothered by something. I'll go outside and I'll say out loud what's bothering me. And often the answer will come right as I'm saying it out loud. But
Oh,
when there's like a taking your power back when you say things out loud to your spirit teams.
mhm.
Um, you're not hiding anything. You're not hiding your vulnerability. You're not hiding weakness that you may feel. And in stating it, it kind of takes, when you hold it to yourself, or you're isolating yourself, and that is not healthy. So to say it out loud is super helpful. If you bite your, so to speak, I was going to say bite someone's head off, but that just sounds like a terrible phrase. But sometimes I know with my hubby, I've said, I'm so sorry that I just snapped at you, and I apologize. I'm sorry. I had this thing on my mind, and it's affecting me today. And I'm working it through. I'm figuring it out. I'm going to go, I'll go for a
Yeah,
walk, and my husband, we've been together a long time now. And he'll be like, oh, okay, thank you for telling me that. And it diffuses the situation.
yeah.
I think be the first one to say, I'm sorry, because we're all under a tremendous amount of pressure right
Yes.
now.
Right.
Stress. So, we can't be like bickering at each other about these little things. You're just like, I need a mental health day today. I need to just do this or that to take care of myself today. We can teach a lot by example, because
Right.
nobody likes being told what to do. I sure don't.
I don't either. I don't. Most
I
people don't.
resist. I resist things that are for my own good because somebody tells me, I just don't like that. But I do learn really well by example. So that's probably the best way to teach is by example.
And going outside like you do and talking out loud,
Yeah.
not only do you stand in your power, but it opens your throat chakra too, which is so
Oh,
healing.
that's true. And I try to remind myself that everyone gets there at their own pace.
Yep.
Everyone wakes up at their own pace. They've all picked their own lives where they've decided with their teams they're going to go through this. They're going to bring this issue out in society. They're going to live at large. And when it's their time to heal, they will find it. And that timing is not up to me,
You're
that's
right.
up to them and their spirit teams. Now, I can say, I choose to be around like-minded individuals who live in their heart chakra or higher. That is my preference. I choose to be safe. I call on angels and I stay grounded to help me be safe. I say prayers for my family and my loved ones and my dear ones. And I want them to be safe.
Right.
So there are things that are in my control, how I carry myself, what my energy is like, what I'm feeding my mind, what I'm feeding my emotions. Those things, I to a certain extent, I have those things are under my control.
Right.
And kind of release the rest of it. I'm not here to worry about what so and so's doing. You know what I mean? I mean,
Mhm.
everyone is going to get there in their own time.
Serge Eugene,
Oh,
Holy
thank
Spirit,
you.
holy blessings to all of you, sending unconditional love,
God,
sending divine love, sending agape love to all holy family friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That
that's
was
beautiful.
beautiful.
So meaningful changes often take time to settle. When I've made healthy changes in my life, I've had to take small steps and do them every day.
Yes.
And then before I know, I go, oh, wow, that doesn't bother me as much as it used to. Or
Right?
this, it takes 21 days to build a habit.
Mm-hmm.
It takes 21 days to build a good habit. So just keep doing the little good thing that you're doing. Like, if I'm not feeling grounded, guess what? I'm going to eat vegetables that grow in the ground for
Mm-hmm.
21 days. I'm going to make my gut health a priority. I'm going to do things in research and follow through on those things to take care of my body because it shows spirit that I'm serious about what I'm doing. that,
Exactly.
that I'm
It
going to eat
does.
as
Yeah.
much light as I can. And I'm going to do that in these following ways. And then you do them.
Yeah.
And these ordinary, small, little things done consistently anchor energy. And
Mhm.
that is powerful. That is really powerful.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else in your toolbox that you want to share?
Um, oh, you actually shared this with me, and I did this before our show today. Kelly told me about this getting bay leaves.
Oh, yeah.
And I do this. I buy a lot of bay leaves now. Get them at the grocery store for not very much. And some days, holy schmoly, some days, I'm telling you. But I'll write down, like today I wrote down a good show with Kelly.
Oh,
And I'm going to write good health for everyone here. And then on the back of the leaf, I write down, thank you, thank you, thank you.
yeah.
As many thank yous as you can fit on a leaf. And I can fit 3 on this one. It's not a very big leaf. So now we've gone to physical. Look at the fire as in motion. And as the smoke begins, you will see it moving into spirit. This is how simple out it can be.
I love that.
And you do that. I've been doing that's a new thing that you actually told me about that I appreciate so much because I've done it a lot. My hubby and I have done it together, and it's made so much difference. So thank you.
Yeah.
Fun
Yeah.
today. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Should we end with a meditation?
Yes, let's do that. Yeah, sounds
Should
good.
we? And it'll be about 5. It'll take us to the top of the hour, and then what we'll do is we'll just pull a couple cards for the collective, and
Okay.
um, so yeah, let's everybody get comfortable. However it is, you want to get comfortable. If you want to sit down, put your feet on the ground,
3
relax your body,
breaths.
take a few deep breaths, slowly exhaling. Let your shoulders soften. Relax your jaw. And just let yourself relax fully into this moment. Another big breath in, and as you exhale, gently release everything you've been carrying that no longer belongs to you. Thoughts, doubts, expectations, let them drop away. Bring your attention to your body. Notice where you feel tension or heaviness. No need to judge it, just notice it. Now bring your awareness into your heart, the quiet place within you that always knows. And gently breathe into that space. Imagine a soft light glowing into your chest, and this light is your truth, your knowing. It may be faint, it may be strong. It's always been there. You were born with it. With every breath, allow that light to grow as it expands through your chest and up through your mind, down through your belly and into your spine. Feel that light expanding. Let that light say to every part of you, I believe you. You're not crazy. You are wise. You are worthy. You are enough. I return to myself now. I release any lies that I was told. I reclaim my voice. I reclaim my truth. I trust what I feel. I trust what I know. And I choose peace. Let yourself rest in that peace for a few moments and feel that peace surround you like a soft blanket of light. You are safe to know what you know. You are safe to be who you are. You are safe to heal. When you're ready, take a deep breath. Gently exhale. Wiggle your fingers and your toes.
Thank you.
Come back into your body, carrying your truth with you. You are whole, you are clear, you are free, and so it is.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
So you have a couple
I have cards.
I
I have
and
3 decks
Amy
going.
and Amy has her own deck too.
First up is medicine cards. We have Hawk. Hawk is a messenger. Sometimes you are the message. Sometimes you are to carry the message to others. Second card is from the Divine Dog. I love this deck. It says to rest. Take a time out. Rest.
Oh, I love that.
Remember to be doing that. And the third one is from my deck, and it's called Feathers Stay Together.
That's beautiful, Annie.
So that's kind of wonderful that we are all here together today. I appreciate that so much. We're going to get through this.
Well, and how appropriate, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And what's that feathers? Or what's that saying?
The birds of a feather.
Feather flock together.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So thank you for this. This is such a wonderful show. I hope everyone has found it helpful today. And we appreciate you being here.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you, thank you. I got you deserve to be seen and let yourself be known.
That's beautiful. Wow.
You deserve to be seen, let yourself be known. And I got sacred well, replenishment, self-care, giving from a place of plenty. So making sure that your cup is full before pouring it out.
So important. So important.
And accept what it is. The act of acceptance will bring peace. The act of acceptance, accepting yourself, will bring you peace. Well, those are amazing. I love your cards and I love your deck. Your
Thanks.
artwork is so
Thank you.
beautiful. I can't wait for the day that it's available for all of us to
know.
buy.
Thank you. Me too. I've written 4 publishers now, so I will give update when I've heard back from them. So I have actually 5, 4 or 5 I've contacted. So we'll see.
Yep. And prayers up that you hear back.
Thank you.
And thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for, sharing your time with us today. And I hope if there's just one thing, that you can take away from today's show that will maybe help you, it's a blessing, right? And it was a blessing being here with all of you, and Annie, it was a blessing being here with you. I
Thank you.
love and appreciate all of you. And Annie and I are going to be doing a show on August 8th, and August 8th is the Lionsgate. And so we will be back then to share the energy and insight and all of that with everybody. So thanks, you guys. Thank you for being here, and have a fabulous week. Now that it's Monday, have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Love you all. I will be on with Terry tomorrow.
Yes. At 8 o'clock, right?
Yes.
8 a.m. tomorrow with Terry at Holding Your Space. Be sure to check that out. I will be there.
Thank you. Okay. Bye, everyone.
See you, everybody. Bye-bye.